Hi, this is Nate Davis with Footballer Training and the author of the book Footballer. I want to talk today about the counterattacking strategy and what to do when they park the bus. To get started, let me explain what the counterattacking strategy is. I'm going to start by placing some defensive players for the white team. And I'm going to place some midfielders here. So they're playing a 4-4-2 in this situation. And you'll notice that the defenders and midfielders make a triangular shape here. And the idea is that there's really not a lot of space to shoot the ball or pass the ball through this group. Splitting this defense would be very difficult. And of course, they have a goalie and then a couple of forwards. And the way this strategy works is the forwards don't really press until the ball comes across the midfield line. And then when it does, they basically pursue the midfielders here. And sometimes they might even play a team like this with a 4-5-1 here. And so the way they'll play this is if the ball goes out on top on the side, this midfielder will pursue it. This defender's going to stay in tight here. So he'll become the support defender. And the idea would be the team might set this up in the situation where they're playing a really good team who tends to score a lot, and they try to hold that team to a very low scoring situation. Now, this team's hope as far as counterattacking goes, which is why they call it the counterattacking strategy, is to somehow get the ball, get the dark colored jersey team insofar that they can make a quick counterattack, fast break, and a shot on goal. So when they counterattack, a lot of people think, oh, you just kick a long through ball, right? Clear everybody, kick a long through ball, and let this player run after it. And unfortunately, when you do that, usually what it ends up with is 1-on-3 or 1-on-4. And I don't think that that's usually the most effective way to counterattack. I think the best way to counterattack is to dribble the ball out. So this player would, if he steals the ball, this player might make a run. This player passes it to him in the full run, and then the forward here might make a fake run this way to try to give him a little bit more of a lane to dribble through, or the forward could step forward toward the ball. Here, this player might make a run. This player passes it to him in the full run, and then they starts dribbling down this way. Here, the forward here might make a fake run this way to try to give him a little bit more of a lane to dribble through, or the forward could step forward toward the ball here, leave the defenders here. Then the ball could be passed to him and then laid off as this runner comes by in a two-person passing combination. So the point, though, is that this counterattack has to be very fast and that the ball would move down the field very quickly. If it's a through ball, what happens so often is that this lone forward ends up battling for the ball. Maybe it goes out of bounds, but there's no quick attack. And it seems like when I've observed this, the quickest attacks come from dribblers or from shorter passes to try to dribble past the defense. In fact, I've even seen where this player dribbled out to here, this forward was backing up with the defense, and the defense stuck so tightly to the forward that this player was able to just dribble right past the offsides line and all the way to the goal. They never picked him up because they were so much expecting the through ball to go to the forward. So anyway, that's the counterattacking strategy. And I have seen teams play this the whole game. And I personally think that the best strategy is not to always show your hand to the other team every time. So I think that mixing the counterattacking defensive strategy with the pressing defensive strategy usually provides the best defense over the course of the game. So sometimes dropping back like this and sometimes pressing forward to try to steal the ball in the pass. Probably depends on, the coach's selection for that particular game. One thing that's true about this strategy or this counterattacking offensive strategy that starts with defense is that this allows players to rest. So if the team's tired, if the team has just made an attack and they need perhaps to catch their breath and take a break, this setup gives them an opportunity to do that. Okay, now let's talk about, as an offense, how you might beat this strategy. One of the things that you can do in order to counter the counterattacking strategy, where the other team parks the bus, as it's said, is that you can kind of form the same strategy from the offensive side of the field. If your forwards don't press all the way forward and your midfielders don't press all the way forward, and you just simply move the ball in the backfield here, and then this team's going to have to make a decision. And probably the first thing they're going to decide to do is that these forwards are going to have to step up here. And so now you have all this time and space to pass the ball if you're a good passing team, and these forwards are just going to be running everywhere. And then eventually it's going to start to get awkward. And the fact that you aren't attacking, that you're waiting for them, and eventually the coach might just give up on this strategy, or maybe a player will want to join in or two. And at that point, then you can try a fast move of the ball into an attacking position with your team. And so if you do this, what you would need to do is for all attacking players to be ready to sprint down on the attack, trying to leave for the players here out of the play for a little bit and cause some defensive confusion. So first thing I want to do is place some midfielders. And I'm going to set up a 4-box-2 where the midfielders are playing in a box. There's no particular position. And it's not a square box. It's kind of a diamond shape here. And they're able to switch positions. They're able to run past each other, trade sides. This one can come over here, and this one can drop back here, and this one can come over here. So it's completely fluid here in the middle. And then, of course, there are defenders. A coach could go to 3 defenders in a case like this and move someone else up. You don't want to put someone here necessarily, because it just makes it even more congested in the middle. So defender could join with the midfield here, but I personally think that the best place for the defenders is to stay here, because these 4 can constantly possess the ball, especially if they have the option of passing back here. And that these defenders can find angles to make passes where it's really just impossible for the white jersey team to steal the ball. And so it also helps on the counterattack. If the white jersey team does get the ball, there's a lot of defense there to help stop that. One of the things that the defense can do and should be allowed to do is to be able to make runs where they might be able to make a run so that the ball can go to them here to cause confusion. In that case, this midfielder steps back, and eventually, as the ball is passed around, this midfielder might make a run, and then this defender might come back to their spot. In any kind of offensive strategy, whenever you have the ball, the first thing you want to look for and understand, as you are always looking and have your head on a swivel, is you want to know where the lanes are. Where are the passing lanes? Where are the dribbling lanes? And where are the lanes for running? Now, the lanes for running, making runs, and the lanes for dribbling are the same lanes. Passing lanes are different. They're narrower usually, and they're places where the ball could be passed to a teammate. So as you look at this setup and as you go into this game and you see all of these defenders clogging the box here, look to where there might be lanes. Here there's some space. Here there's some space. There's a little bit of space right along here. There's some space over here. So if this player has the ball, he's got a lane right here. He could dribble in, he or she. If this player gets the ball, he has a lane right here, so he can dribble this way with the ball. This player then might see this lane, make a run this way. As this player steps up, this lane's created. So again, constantly thinking in lanes. Now, if this player steps up and this player steps up, perhaps there's a passing lane this way and the ball is behind the defense. So again, players should always be thinking in lanes. Where could I make a run where I won't be guarded? Where could I dribble the ball where I won't be guarded and take the space to draw defenders? So always thinking, where's the space and how can I get the ball to go through the space to confuse the defense, to draw somebody out of position, and then to get into an attacking situation. I'm going to put the forwards here. I'm going to put them out to the side. And what happens often is that these forwards tend to want to stay here and participate with the midfielders in passing. And what happens is that the ball just gets passed around here with no attack because there's no way to split the defense. And if this person gets the ball and dribbles it down here, it's triple teamed and it becomes very difficult. And so one of the principles of the book Footballer is that you want to confuse the defense and you want to drag people out of position. So what I recommend for these forwards is that they come in close here to try to pull players in closer here. Then they can make a run this way to receive a pass. So again, the principle of making these runs is first you go away and then you make a run to the lane that you created by going away. And even these players could come off sides here to try to pull these players back. So they could go on and off sides until these players start to drop back. And you can see how that's opening up more space here on the side of the field. Now I would not play a forward here because that really just adds to the confusion. What they've done here is they've completely eliminated the opportunity to split the defense. And they've also made it very rare to find a one-on-one. So again, this would be a one-on-two situation if the ball did get to them. So what could a team do? And they've got two opportunities for striking. One of them is to do so from outside. And the other one is to get the ball in here and then to cross it across the middle this way. So let me talk about how a team can set those plays up. And again, these players aren't necessarily rotated a certain direction. They are sideways on though, which is important. So first let's talk about how the midfielders here might be able to take a shot from outside. So as usual, this is a game of keep away between these four and whatever defenders step up. So let's say there are two defenders who step up and then they still have the box set like this. Then what you want to do is find out of those four, which ones are the best outside shooters. So maybe there's two or three of these who take better outside shots. And so it shouldn't be any problem for either of those players to be able to take a shot. Now they want to be within their range. Okay, so here's an example of how this midfield might be able to set up a shot. And this right here is one of our good shooters. And this player's range is, 30 yards at most. And so we need to get the ball here to do that. We're going to set up so that this player has the ball here, plays the ball to this player, then straight across the field runs this way, and it turns out to be a 1-2 or a give and go. When this happens and this player is making a run in this lane here, this player is going to step up. This player is going to wonder, right, if they should step up. And at that same time, this player is going to make a run this way here, and the ball is going to be played off to the side for a one-touch shot right here so that it doesn't hit anybody. Now, as a shooter, this is very important, that anytime you're within range and you have two ball widths, that you beat your defender. So the ball is right there. So this person, let's say, faked this way, pulled the ball back, and now can get behind it to shoot here. Take that shot. And it doesn't matter if this player's here or this player's here, because once the ball, this is what matters right here, once you get this. Because some things could happen here. One, if this player shoots and it hits this player, then it could deflect over here. This player could run onto it. It would be the kind of play that the white jersey team was not expecting at all. Or if this player gets hit, then perhaps they'll be a little less likely to step in front of the ball next time, because honestly that does play into taking these outside shots, is how willing are these defenders to be to jump in front of the ball. Another option is that it might just slightly deflect and then go in the side of the goal here. And that's a real possibility too. Or it could pass all the way through and get in the goal. You don't need to take a great shot. Don't wait until you have just the world's best shot. What you want to do is be taking shot after shot after shot. And what will happen when you do that is these midfielders will feel like they need to step up because they're nervous. Now you have an opportunity to split the defense. One more thing that these midfielders can do as they play this game of keep away is they can make fake runs. So, for example, if the good shooter's here with the ball and the good shooter has a one-on-one and we're certain that the shooter can beat this player here, so that player has a one-on-one with the opportunity to shoot, which is one of the reasons in the principles of footballer to dribble. And these players see this setting up. They can make fake runs. So they can yell and make a lot of noise and run this way and hope to pull these defenders this way. And this player perhaps could run this way, make a lot of noise, and maybe pull defenders this way as this player is beating them. And then as the ball gets within range, this player can take a shot on goal. So, of course, if the ball just came up a little bit closer, they would all drop in and that shot's going to close off. So timing is very important on making the fake runs, and timing is very important on making the shot. The last thing I want to do is talk about these forwards and what they can do in order to help their team when the opponents have parked the bus. Let's say these four players are making a really nice time of playing keep away in this area here, sometimes engaging these midfielders, but mostly just keeping the ball away from these two forwards here. And in fact, perhaps they need to play this game a little further out, where they know the midfielders are following rules, trying to stay close to their defenders. So they're playing this game here. And the forwards then are constantly making these fake runs this way, trying to get the defenders to drop back and force them a little bit more in this direction. When the ball comes on this side, after this defender has made his runs, perhaps even coming from offsides, then the ball can come out to the side here. Or it could come as a third man running passing combination where this player moves here, the ball moves here, then this player moves here. Okay, now we're set up for a cross. And so immediately when these players see this starting to happen, where the forward is going to run out and take the ball here, they need to get in their spots for the cross to come through here, behind the defense, but in front of the goalie. And if it's possible, hard and low is the best situation. But if it's not possible, a lofted pass up into this area right here is a good option. So the key to the cross is getting to your spot quickly. All right, so let me move the midfielders out and talk about one more option. If the play has moved over to this side of the field and we have this midfield group over here, then there is a chance that this forward might be left alone here. And there is a pass that could be made but it would take a skilled player to do it. This ball could be sent across this way so the goalie can't get it along the end line here. So the reason that this is the pass to make is because a pass over the top here is probably going to get knocked out by the goalie and will be well defended by these players. And then of course any pass in this area is going to be behind all the defense, or in front of all the defense. So this pass here, the one that the goalie can't get to, the defense can't get his head on, and that rolls along the goal line here, perhaps even putting some curve on it, can get the ball behind the defense again for a cross. So what has to happen once this pass is made is everyone has to run to their spot and be ready for that cross. And just like I talked about how many shots you might need to take on goal before you make a long shot, if you can set up a lot of situations like this, eventually somebody's going to get a knee on it or a body on it, or they're going to kick it in and they're going to get a goal. So it's really a matter of not how many goals do we score, but how many times do we set up scoring opportunities. Even if you figure a 20-to-1 scoring ratio, you just need to set up shooting opportunity after shooting opportunity after shooting opportunity, both with the cross and with the outside shots. Best of luck in your play. I'm Nate Davis with Footballer Training and the author of the book Footballer. Thank you.